with the U.S. federal Constitution. The 14th Amendment, one of the main fruits of the victory of the Union in the Civil War, all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. I don't see him happy with that one. And in Section 4, the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for the payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. That would mean there is no legal debt ceiling because the government is not allowed by law to default on debts that have already been incurred. Finally, the 17th Amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be elected, it'll be composed of, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. That means you get to vote for senators. Ron Paul says, no, take that back to the state legislature. That means it's more oligarchical than it is now. Now, I would ask also, I went through what I would call a static scoring of the Ron Paul budget in that interview, which I invite you to listen to, with Bonnie Faulkner, KPFA and WBAI. But now, how about some dynamic scoring? If you put this together, what are the effects? I mean, how does this all interact, right? Rather than just go through point by point, as I tried to do, to be fair to Ron Paul. He wants to do things like selling federal assets, selling federal land, sell off the auto companies. No idea of administering these things or even getting a good price. Just sell them off. I should also add he wants to cut $40 billion from the Department of Transportation. That's more than half. So remember, it's commerce, housing, education, energy, interior, and pretty much half of the Department of Transportation. All of these get the axe. 500,000 federal jobs destroyed immediately. But the dynamic scoring is this. There's no relief in there for the middle class. There's relief if you're a stock speculator. There's relief if you've got a silver spoon and you want to inherit big money. If you're a corporation, you get tax relief. But I don't see tax relief for the middle class. I see nothing. So if you're just normal middle class, you're not going to get any tax relief. Your Medicaid, if you need that, if you lose your job, is not going to be provided for. The food stamps will be cut from $200 a month to $60 or so, right? You'll be living on $15 to $20 a week per individual. Doesn't look good. If you need to put your kid into college and you've lost your job, you'll have no Pell Grant to turn to. And this business about the gold-backed currency, hard money, strong dollar, people borrowed paper dollars, $1 trillion of student loans, $1 trillion of consumer debt. They borrowed paper money, and Ron Paul says, we're going to make you pay that back in gold dollars. Not good for a country that has so much debt. Also, if you own a house, imagine the result of a strong dollar on the value of your house. The value of your house will go down in terms of dollars. So if you're underwater now, a gold-backed dollar would lead to a lowering of the market value of your house. And then, of course, there's stuff about busting the unions. Every state is forced to be a right-to-work state. The principle of states' rights goes out the window. The Davis-Bacon Act goes out the window. No more union wage scales on federal projects. We've even got things that he doesn't spell out. Banning of union projects. What is that? So essentially it means that certain key things that have kept up wage scales in various parts of the country, all of that would be taken away. We could get wages going down and the U.S. continuing to make this transition to a low-wage economy. We cannot survive as a low-wage economy. We must have high-wage, high-value-added, high capital intensity, high energy intensity, capital goods production. I think the dynamic effect of the combination of measures advocated by Ron Paul in this program would be devastating for the middle class. And I don't think it would lead too happy use of gold-backed currency. I think it would do what it did to Russia under shock therapy and the International Monetary Fund with Jeffrey Sachs and Anders Aslund. In other words, a barterization of the economy where people would be driven out of the money economy. So I think that's pretty much at least a few more notes on this on the economic program. Now let's look back first of all. The year of the mass strike. It has been the year of dupes. That outcome was not inevitable. That was up for grabs. But it was going to be the year of the mass strike because we have this depression, world economic and financial depression, starting in 07, 08, and then that working out in terms of unemployment, privations, collapse of standards of living, foreclosures, and so forth, across the globe. So it started in February. We started to see that the mass strike was back. In other words, masses in motion, lots of people willing to get out and protest. The Wisconsin event was the fascist Governor Walker carrying out a typical anti-union offensive with the help of his new majority. Now, of course, these people are in office because of Obama's multifarious failures and the arrogance, stupidity, and incompetence of the Democratic Party. This goes without saying. But now, there they are, and they then do a frontal attack, right? Obama does the stab-in-the-back routine, but the fascist Walker comes with a frontal attack. And the result was a defensive mobilization, a kind of a mass strike or general strike in the state of Wisconsin, which was unfortunately betrayed by Obama with faint praise and betrayed by the Democratic Party. Instead of fighting against the content of what Walker was demanding, in other words, these cuts in the health plans, they said, we'll give you all the concessions you want, but we'll just struggle for union rights. In other words, it sounded very much like the jobs of union bureaucrats and not the benefits of their members. But even with that crippling dead weight of the Democratic Party around their necks, the magnificent mobilization of the people of Wisconsin was able to knock out 2 reactionary Republican state senators. They needed 3 to get the majority, but they knocked out 2. That has undoubtedly scared the others and gotten their attention. And they are now in the process of gathering the signatures for the ouster of the fascist Walker. And remember, if they were able to defeat 2 reactionary Republicans in normally Republican districts, now that they go statewide, the threat to Walker is very grave. He's going to need a lot of money from the reactionary Koch brothers to do anything about this. So the mass strike year 2011 started in Wisconsin. And don't forget this. Wisconsin is where it started, not even Occupy Wall Street. Back in a minute.